It's the Andy and Dave Daily right here on the Muskegon Channel. I am Andy O'Reilly. That is Dave Cackley. And together we put on this magical, incredible interlude daily called the Andy and Dave Daily, where we discuss topics of the day. We may rib and poke at each other a little bit. We've been known to make light of situations. We've been known to discuss heavy topics.
Right. A lot of heaviness.
Yeah, sometimes. Other times it's light fare.
Yeah. You never know what you're going to get.
That's what we do. We're crazy
that's
like
what makes
that.
We're
wacky.
Yes.
So, yesterday's news that you weren't going to work on was really today's news. And
absolutely.
I gave some of what you're going to talk about today a little reflection last night. Okay. And I'll let you roll with the news. I will share with you the reflections I came up with last night, and we'll see where you sit today.
All right, I'm gonna get into that. Those are my second and third stories, revolve completely around what we were discussing yesterday. First story, though, I want to get into involves DACA. President Donald Trump on Wednesday opened the door for citizenship for illegal immigrants who came to the U.S. as children. Trump ended the Obama-era Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, otherwise known as DACA, last year. Trump is now urging Congress to replace it. He said the time frame would be over the next decade to 12 years. The White House says an immigration framework would be unveiled sometime next week. So once again, there's going to be some compromise between Republicans and Democrats regarding DACA, regarding a border wall, regarding security, all that stuff. So, hopefully they can come to some type of agreement in the coming weeks or months. Because you got to get this thing hashed out. I mean, there's not going to be a perfect solution. There
never will be.
Right.
But the idea of can we agree in principle that the idea of rounding up people that have really not been a problem at all, that have been here since they were 5 years old, can we really agree that that's kind of a scary step to take?
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree that if somebody's been here, they were brought here, and they don't have any criminal history or violent criminal histoy, and they're employed, they're contributing members of society. Sure. Yeah, but if they got felonies, if they've been doing anything nefarious, they got to go.
Okay,
they got to go now.
And I'm not even going to disagree with that.
Yeah,
I'm not.
There we go.
Let's just say you're a doctor in Kalamazoo with a bunch of seatbelt tickets.
Yeah, that's different.
Okay,
that's completely different.
Let's say you're a mom in Detroit, like that. The one that got kicked out a couple of months ago. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Okay, that's all anybody's asking for.
Here's the thing: is that's not what people. There are those on the extreme left and the extreme right. You got people who want open borders. You got people who want to kick everybody with a speeding ticket who came here illegally out.
I'm here to tell you what, and I'm telling you, and we've disagreed on this a little bit in the past, but I'm telling you right now, in the situation I'm in, mm-hmm. and watching social media and hearing what people are saying, the attitude of some is that if every I and T and period and comma and everything else isn't done on some piece of paperwork for somebody that's been here since they were 5 years old, mm-hmm.
You
got to go. And
see, that's just unreasonable. It is
a horrific mindset. It reeks of racism and it's foul. It's a foul, wrong mindset for the United States of America.
Would you say it's reasonable though to expect this of people who come here? I don't care how they come here, legally, illegally, that you assimilate, that you speak the language, that
Absolutely.
You learn.
Well,
that
not even
doesn't
language,
mean you can't.
Because
if you're going to move somewhere,
you should have functional English.
Yes,
that's fine.
Absolutely.
But
you come here, you learn the language. If I'm going to move to another country, if I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna pick up and I'm gonna move to Germany.
Okay.
I'm gonna be fluent in German. I'm gonna learn to be fluent in German.
Of course.
You have to. Otherwise, you can't survive. And you know what else I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get a freaking identification. I'm going to have ID.
Yep.
Okay. That's the other. When people get into things like ID laws, and so ID laws are racist. Really?
No.
That's racist. Are you out of your mind? But you can't get anything. But you can't get government benefits without identification.
I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. But I mean, here's this. Go back to the doctor in Kalamazoo. Okay.
Yeah.
There's no way he's practiced medicine all this time without paying some taxes and having an ID.
Absolutely.
And being. It can't happen.
You got to separate. You got to be able to separate. You can't deal with every illegal immigrant the exact same way because they're not all the same.
No.
People, I mean, you can't.
Okay,
You're absolutely right.
Here we are.
Right.
Very good.
Look at
We've
us.
come to an accord.
Coming together.
Nice.
Okay, now let's get into the heavies.
All right.
All right, Larry Nassar will spend the rest of his life in prison. Nassar sentenced Wednesday to 40 to 175 years in prison on 7 counts of sexual assault. Some of the victims were as young as 9 years old.
Ugh.
Hundreds of women courageously confronted Nassar in court, revealing their accounts of his abuse. Nassar will also serve a 60-year sentence on child pornography charges. Now, in a related story, Luana K. Simon announced her resignation as university president yesterday. Simon had spent her entire career at Michigan State dating back to the mid-1970s. She had been the school's president since 2004. The NCAA has announced they'll be conducting their own investigation into MSU's handling of the case. Now, there's a lot to kind of unpack here. Okay. Nassar is going to prison for the rest of his life.
Yes.
Okay. So justice is served there. Luana K. Simon, president, she resigned. Yep. She's gone. You got the gymnastics coach had already been fired. There was another woman who I believe is the liaison between maybe the athletes and the administration. I'm a little foggy on what her role was, but she resigned. Here's the problem. You still got people who are outraged. Still got people who are really upset, understandably upset.
Okay.
And they need to focus their outrage somewhere. So what's the next thing? I mean, I don't know what else you do here. First of all, as far as the NCAA goes, the NCAA is one of the most corrupt institutions in the United States. I mean, this is to have them come in and investigate anything is a joke, and a bad joke. But here's my issue. You look at Luana K. Simon. She's the president of the university. Now, if there is any indication that there was somehow interference with an investigation into these allegations, that there's any indication that they tried to cover anything up, that's one thing. But expecting the president of the university to know what is going on behind closed doors between a doctor and a student athlete / patient, that to me is an unreasonable expectation. I know people say, well, it's her job to know. It's not possible for her to know.
Now, hold on. These accusations have been coming out for a while, and they might not have had the volume that they've had up till lately. But and you remember Brad Edwards?
Yes.
The TV reporter.
Channel 8 guy. Yeah.
On just as I got up this morning on his Facebook page, he put a letter that came out. I don't remember the date, but it was a professor he had back when he went to MSU for journalism. The professor had written a letter saying, look, all these accusations are going on. And he sent it right to this president of MSU and said, look, I can't be a part of this with these accusations going on. I quit. So with other faculty and staff and things like this around her telling her that, hey, we're
What year was this?
What?
What year was this?
I don't remember the date, and
Okay.
I can't really look it up right now. But if you look at his Facebook page, there's the letter of resignation saying this stuff's going on. This needs to be looked at and all this other kind of stuff.
Okay.
So, she's gone, he's gone, everybody's gone. All right, it's time for closure. But yesterday you were kind of saying that, and granted, you're a Michigan State fan, and I get it. It's close to your heart and all this other kind of stuff. But I want you to go back to a couple of months ago when the Harvey Weinstein stuff started coming out, and I didn't really get the gravity of what was going on with the situation.
Right.
I kind of think that's reversed here at this point. I think that you don't get I don't think you get the depth of how much collusion and cover-up has gone on. Well, and don't get defensive. I'm not really trying to put you on the spot or anything like that. This is a big, fat ass, hairy problem for Michigan State, and it's going to be a big, fat ass, hairy problem for a long time, and it's going to cost the university a lot of money.
Absolutely,
and it is a black eye that ain't going away anytime soon. And I'm not saying that is in the whole Michigan State war thing or anything like that. This is bad.
And this has got nothing to do with me being a Michigan State fan or anything like that. I'm looking at this objectively.
Okay.
I am truly looking at this objectively as far as how much control a university president has. Now, I was looking at the timeline of this investigation, this specific investigation into Nassar. She was issued a title. She was notified of a Title IX investigation about an unnamed doctor at MSU. So it wasn't, Nassar's name wasn't attached to the investigation in 2014. Last year, he was fired after allegations, official allegations came out. I mean, there's a difference between rumors between a professor saying, "Hey, I think this is going on," so I'm right, and there being and victims actually coming forward and saying this happened. Now, it's one thing if the victims were ignored by the higher ups. And here's the other thing: is there's a chain of command, and Michigan State has an athletic director, one of the most renowned and respected in the country, arguably the greatest athletic director in the country, Mark Hollis. Now, this is what surprises me is his name is just recently, just the last 18 hours coming up in connection with this investigation. Why was the president of the university pointed at first? I mean, you would think that people closer to the athletic department would have either, if there was something to be known, that they would have known. But I also go back to this is Jim, and we have the comparisons to Penn State.
You got to take the money issue out.
You can't take the money issue out because money is a big component to why it was covered up at Penn State.
But here's the thing: athletics are athletics, okay?
But they're not.
But I get that. All right, listen, just pay attention, dummy. Listen for a second. The football and the basketball and all the big money athletics and all that other kind of stuff, yeah, they draw people in, they raise money for the schools and all other kind of stuff. But on the athletics level, the athletes are still competing for the same goods at any level. Michigan State's got a bowling scholarship just as much as they've got a football scholarship. Michigan State's got a gymnastics scholarship just as much as they've got basketball. So, when you're looking at the athletics program, at least from a participant standpoint, the opportunities are there at any level. You know what I mean? You can be granted the same things in football or basketball that you could be for lacrosse or bowling or lawn darts or whatever games they play at Michigan State. I don't know. So you look at the big money athletics and all that other kind of stuff, but if you really get down to it, it's really just part of the entire athletic program, and essentially they all ought to be equal. And now I know that they, from a student level,
right?
As a student athlete, you should be treated no different if you're a gymnast or a football player. You know what I mean? Take the money part out of it. Yeah,
I agree with that.
Okay,
but I'm talking about what if you're a university and you're looking at it from a public relations or a revenue standpoint, sometimes that goes hand in hand. Like when you go back to the Penn State situation with Jerry Sandusky, that was one of the most high-profile entities in the NCAA was Penn State football.
Right.
So the administration had a financial interest and a public relations interest in covering that up. I'm not saying they should. They obviously shouldn't have. But there was a financial you could say that there was a financial interest in why Penn State covered that up.
I'll give you that.
This is women's gymnastics. This is a doctor involved with the gymnastics program at Michigan State. That is not a revenue generating sport. That is not the athletes are given the same things as far as room and board and everything, but it's not the same as if you're dealing with a potential cover up in the football or basketball program. There's more of a likelihood that an institution, even an institution like Michigan State, would have a financial interest in either covering up or impeding an investigation into football or basketball, and they don't have that same interest in doing that to gymnastics. They just don't. I don't understand why they would. Well, that's what I'm saying is, why would they, if there's any there, why would there be? I mean, like, what would the higher ups at Michigan State have to gain by covering up what a doctor did with the with student athletes in regard to the gymnastics program? I don't know what their interest would be. I'm not saying it didn't happen. Like I said, like you got the NCAA investigating this, which I said is a whole nother matter. But if there was any type of interference, any type of cover up here, that's completely different. Then you throw the book at them. But if it's just we want somebody else to be responsible. Larry Nassar was responsible for what happened.
Yep.
He did this to these girls. They're the only victim. Make no mistake, Luana K. Simon is not. She resigned. She's not a victim in this. Nobody else who gets fired is a victim in this. The only victims in this were the women, and the only person I believe at fault here or who was guilty at this point that we know of is Larry Nassar. Now, once again, if there was some type of cover-up, that's completely different. But what we know right now, justice has been served. I don't know what else there is to gain.
Well, we'll find
out.
And
the NCAA investigating it, to me, is a joke.
Okay.
All right.
Well, and I'll tell you what, for Christmas next year, we're going to buy you a bunch of, I don't know, pick your school. Who do you want to be a fan of next?
Hey, man, I'm still a Spartan fan. Absolutely. Absolutely.
We could get you some Alma College gear. We could get you some
Calvin, Hope
College. Calvin's nice. Yes, that's
Calvin's
a nice one.
Hey, I went to Western Michigan. I'm still a Bronco, but no, I'm still a Spartan fan.
I went to Western. I studied Elizabethan poetry. Look how good my life turned out.
Oh man, sports. Pistons fall to the Utah Jazz on the road, 98-95. Michigan State on Friday will tip off against I forget who they were playing. I should know this. Michigan State's playing Wisconsin. They'll host Wisconsin at the Breslin Center. 7 p.m. tip-off once again. That's Friday. That's sports.
Have yourself a great Thursday, Dave Cackley. We'll talk to you soon.
See ya.